Folks, if you're one of the 36 million American families who got advanced child tax credit payments, just know this: the IRS is about to send you a letter. As soon as you get it, you need to hold on to it because you will need to file your taxes for 2021 and 2022. Now, this letter is just as important as any tax form. The letter is called the Letter 6419 in 2021 Advanced Child Tax Credit. Now, this is going to verify the amount you got in advance payments during 2021. It will also verify the number of children who qualify to determine these payouts. But in regular years, the child tax credit tends to be calculated every time that you file a federal tax return, that is. However, there are 3 major child tax credit modifications only for 2021. This was part of the Crisis Relief American Rescue Plan that was made official to the public in March. One of the first modifications was that the credit was far more generous than previous ones. It provided parents with a $3,000 credit, which is $250 per month. That's for every child inside the household between ages 6 and 17. It also provided $3,600, which is $300 per month for every child under the age of 6. Now, the child tax credit is also fully refundable for 2021, which means you don't need to have any income to get it. The IRS has also instructions to pay out half the credit as an advance in monthly installments from the month of July all the way to December. Most taxpayers with children receive the payments automatically, but all payment amounts change depending on the taxpayer's recently processed tax returns and as well as other factors. Here's the breaking news about the 4 stimulus checks that you want to know. The third round of EAP payments authorized by the American Rescue Plan started being sent out back in March 2021, but a third wave of the checks must be issued by December 31st, 2021. Now, it does mean that there's enough time to apply for an extra round of stimulus money if you haven't done so already. There's been a third payment automatically sent out by the IRS to people who did not hand in a return but received Social Security retirement or survivors. Even if you received railroad retirement benefits and SSI or even veteran affairs benefits, you can apply for this benefit, folks. If you're a taxpayer in the United States whose income was lower in 2020 than it was in 2019, that's good news because you're eligible to receive what is being referred to as a plus-up payment. Now, this also applies to anyone who claimed an elderly or disabled dependent when they handed in their taxes in 2020, as well as elder or disabled relatives or even college students who wanted to take care of those individuals. But so far, the deadline to submit your tax return of 2020 and therefore become eligible to receive the plus-up payment is on December 31st. So you have to act sooner than later in order for you to receive this third stimulus check. In order for you to get the payment before the end of 2021, you should submit your tax return with some time to spare. But so far, congressional Democrats faced a stalled agenda and a limited time to get it moving again in the month of January. Democrats hope in the new year to be sending the $1.75 trillion Build Back Better legislation to Joe Biden's desk, along with a voting and election overhaul that will expand access to the polls ahead of the critical midterm elections. Democrats will have limited time to try to advance the bill or any other major legislation thanks to election year politics that make it much harder for vulnerable lawmakers to cast difficult votes, such as the one that would have required to be passed with the Build Back Better. Although the bill faces a major rewrite due to the objections of Joe Manchin in West Virginia, the new version is poised to have a significant price tag offset by tax increases. Democrats will be sidetracked quickly in the new year when they have to shift their focus to fiscal 2022 and government funding, which runs out in February. Now, Democrats do control both chambers, like the Democrats in the Senate and the Democrats in House of Representatives. But they also face a short timeline and a big to-do list. Chuck Schumer, a New York Democrat, plans to move quickly over the next weeks, and Schumer told Democrats that the Senate will soon begin vote on both the Build Back Better and the voting election overhaul bill. The move is aimed at pressuring holdout Joe Manchin, and it's also going to try to force vulnerable Democrats to support the doomed bill. The measure would create new government subsidies and programs and also implement green energy policies. But Democrats are eager to show voters that their party can govern, and they plan a campaign blitz promoting the many new programs and subsidies in the bill, which is currently being rewritten and includes free preschool. But voters at the moment are most concerned about inflation, and some economists have argued that it will be further aggravated by more government spending. Democrats are attempting to pass the bill on the heels of a $1.2 trillion infrastructure bill. Thank you for your support, everybody. If you have any more questions about this, leave them in the comments below.
Hey everybody, it's Congressman Colin Allred. This year, I know, has been unlike any in recent memory, and the pandemic has been especially hard for families with young kids. That's why I was so proud to help pass the American Rescue Plan in March, and why I made sure that we supported hardworking families by giving parents their money back. The American Rescue Plan temporarily increased the child tax credit from $2,000 to $3,000 per child for kids over 6 years old and to $3,600 for kids under the age of 6, and allowed folks to receive it in monthly payments of $250 to $300. I was raised by a single mom who was a public school teacher, and I know what a difference a few hundred extra bucks a month would have made for our family. And I've been so inspired by the stories of North Texans that you've shared with me about how these payments have been a lifeline for your families. Like Rebecca from Richardson, who said that the expanded child tax credit helped her family pay their bills and buy groceries. Or Kevin from Saxe, who used the extra money to get health insurance for his son. The North Texas Food Bank has told me that they've seen a direct correlation between the demand for their assistance and when folks get these payments. And experts have said that these changes to the child tax credit have cut childhood poverty in half this year. That's why, as we build back better and work to set our nation on the path to lead the world for decades to come, we have to give our kids all the tools they need to succeed. And that starts with putting money back in their parents' pockets. The expanded child tax credit has made a world of difference for North Texas families this year, and we have to continue this historic investment. This benefit delivered $212 million in child tax credit payments to more than 89,000 families.
But recognizing the momentous weight of history that rested on his shoulders. And Chris, I came up the same sentence from your book. Someday, he wrote, will be recognized as a great landmark in the struggle of mankind for peace. Never before has such a record been written, and men will read it for 1,000 years in amazement and wonder how it ever happened. When President Clinton spoke at this first dedication, he ended on a poignant reminder. He said, and I quote, "The road to tyranny, we must never forget, begins with the destruction of truth." The road to tyranny begins with the destruction of truth. In my view, that was the lesson at the heart of the Nuremberg trials. Finding truth, documenting it, so it could never be denied. In court, Tom Dodd built a case fact by fact, using the Nazis' own meticulous records of crimes and shocking human evidence to pin down Nazi leaders who tried to deny their complicity and feign ignorance. And even more important, it denied the entire German policy the ability to feign